In July 2014, a young German man named Lars Mittank traveled to the Bulgarian seaside with a group of friends. It was supposed to be a simple, carefree summer vacation. Nothing unusual, nothing dangerous, just sun, music, and relaxation. But only 1 week later, this trip would become one of Europe's most disturbing mysteries. A mystery that still haunts investigators, the public, and the family he left behind. Lars Mittank vanished under circumstances so strange, so sudden, and so frightening that people still struggle to explain what truly happened to him. Lars was 28 years old, from northern Germany. He had a stable job, a girlfriend, and a quiet life. Friends described him as calm, easygoing, and not someone who sought trouble. His trip to Bulgaria was not unusual. Thousands of young people from Europe visit the same destination every summer. But on the very first night of the vacation, something happened that would completely change the course of events. According to multiple witnesses, Lars got into an argument with a group of football fans at a bar. The argument was reportedly about different football teams, and although it seemed minor at first, tensions escalated quickly. A fight broke out. It wasn't a brutal beating, but it was enough to leave Lars with a painful injury to his left ear. His friends urged him to see a doctor, and the next day he did. The doctor confirmed that Lars had a perforated eardrum and advised him not to fly. Air pressure could worsen the injury or even rupture the ear completely. His friends had no choice but to head home as planned, while Lars stayed behind, intending to take a later flight once his ear healed. From this moment on, things began to turn strange. Alone in a foreign country, Lars started acting in ways none of his friends recognized. He sent messages saying he didn't feel safe. He claimed someone was following him. He said he needed to hide. He even texted his mother, writing that she should cancel his bank cards because something wasn't right. He checked into a cheap hotel near the airport, but he didn't stay long. Security cameras showed him pacing nervously in the hallways. At one point, he left the hotel abruptly at night, disappearing into the darkness for several hours before returning in a distressed state. Hotel staff later said he looked frightened, confused, and restless. What exactly was happening to Lars during those hours remains unknown. There were no reports of anyone harassing him, no evidence of threats, no signs of a criminal gang. Some people believe he may have experienced hallucinations or severe paranoia. Others believe he was truly in danger, but couldn't explain from whom. The next morning, Lars went to the Varna Airport to finally fly back to Germany. The airport cameras recorded him walking slowly with his luggage, appearing calmer than he had the night before. He entered the airport doctor's office to get medical clearance to fly. But it was inside that small room that the situation escalated into one of the most baffling moments ever captured on camera. According to the nurse present, something or someone startled Lars. She later said he reacted as if he had heard a voice or seen something terrifying.
Without warning, Lars jumped up from the examination bed and shouted, "I don't want to die here."
He then ran out of the office at full speed. Surveillance footage shows him sprinting through the terminal barefoot, leaving behind his luggage, wallet, passport, and all of his belongings. It was as if he suddenly decided that staying still meant certain death. What happened next has been viewed millions of times online. Lars ran through the airport exit, across the parking lot, and toward a tall metal fence surrounding the airport grounds. Without hesitation, he climbed the fence and disappeared into the forest on the other side. And after that moment, Lars Mittank was never seen again. His disappearance triggered a massive search involving police, volunteers, dogs, drones, and helicopters. But no trace of Lars was found. Not a piece of clothing, not a bone, nothing. It was as if he walked into the forest and vanished from reality. To this day, there are several theories about what happened to Lars, but none provide a complete answer. One theory suggests he suffered an acute psychotic episode. His ear injury, combined with pain medication or dehydration, might have caused temporary psychosis. Symptoms like paranoia, hallucinations, and fear could explain his strange behavior. However, this theory struggles to explain the sudden moment of terror in the doctor's office. People experiencing psychosis usually show more gradual behavioral changes, not sudden explosive panic triggered by an unknown stimulus. Another theory believes Lars encountered criminal activity in Bulgaria. Some speculate he may have been threatened or involved by accident in a conflict he didn't understand. The fact that he refused to stay in one place, kept changing hotels, and acted as if someone was after him supports this idea. But investigators found no evidence of organized crime connected to him. Still, fear can be powerful. If Lars believed he was in danger, real or not, his actions might have been driven entirely by that fear. A third theory suggests that Lars had a severe anxiety reaction. Being alone in a foreign country, injured, without friends, and under stress may have pushed him into a state of panic. Anxiety can distort perception, turning harmless situations into threats. This could explain why he ran from the doctor's office after hearing a voice or seeing something he misinterpreted. But then comes the most puzzling question. If he simply ran into the forest, why was he never found? The search area was not enormous. People have gone missing in forests before, but almost always something eventually turns up. Clothing, bones, items, anything. Yet in Lars's case, the forest remained silent. No signs of an injured man wandering for days. No discovery of remains. Nothing that could explain the final moments of his life. There are also more unusual theories. Some believe Lars may have tried to travel on foot, wandering far from the airport and reaching another town or even another country. Sightings have been reported across Europe, although none have been confirmed. Others think he might have suffered a severe head injury that caused memory loss, leaving him unaware of who he was and living somewhere under a different identity. These theories sound unlikely, but disappearances like this are rare, and rare cases often lead to unusual speculation. What makes the case even more chilling is that all of Lars's belongings were left behind at the airport. His phone, passport, clothes, everything except the shirt he was wearing. A person escaping a criminal threat would usually take their ID or money. Lars took nothing. He ran as if his only instinct was survival, with no thought beyond the next few seconds. More than 10 years have passed since that day, and the disappearance of Lars Mittank remains one of Europe's most unsettling unsolved mysteries. The footage of him running through the airport is often described as the most mysterious missing person video on the internet. A video that shows not just a man in fear, but the exact moment his life changed forever. Or perhaps ended. Was Lars running from a real threat? Was he suffering from a psychological breakdown? Did he encounter someone dangerous, or was the danger only in his mind? Why did he react with such intense terror? And most importantly, how did he vanish without a trace? No one knows. And until answers appear, the case of Lars Mittank will continue to haunt anyone who watches his final moments, frozen in time on airport security cameras. A chilling reminder of how quickly a normal life can dissolve into a nightmare, and how a person can disappear not only from sight, but from the world itself.